my car fixed yet? It's the Studebaker. Yeah, you know, the one with the little doggy in the window that goes. And she thought I was talented, Mama, and she gave me a part in this play.
She was the queen of comedy, the woman who made America laugh every week for over a decade. But in 1977, Carol Burnett did something no one expected. She performed a sketch so raw, so heartbreakingly real, that the studio fell silent. No punchlines, no laughter, just pain. It aired once, and she never watched it again. Not in 47 years. Why would a comedy legend walk away from her own masterpiece? And what secret did that performance reveal? Stick around, because what happened that night wasn't just television. It was a glimpse into Carol Burnett's deepest truth. Born in San Antonio, Texas, on April 26, 1933, Carol Burnett was the child of two alcoholics. Her father, once a charming movie theater manager, couldn't hold a job. Her mother, an aspiring writer, drowned her own dreams in booze and bitterness. As a toddler, Carol learned what it meant to be unwanted. Bedtime stories were replaced with silence. The footsteps coming through the front door were rarely gentle. Eventually, her parents gave up entirely. She was sent to live with her maternal grandmother, Mabel White, in a rundown Hollywood boarding house. There, Carol and Mabel survived on $20 a week. Their world was crumbling walls, broken neighbors, and ice-cold winters with no heat. But in that one-bedroom apartment filled with desperation, Carol found something she'd never had before: unconditional love. Mabel believed in her, and that belief gave Carol a reason to dream. To cope with her isolation, Carol created an imaginary twin sister named Karen. Confident, outgoing, everything Carol wasn't. She'd climb the fire escape, change her clothes, fix her hair, and reappear as Karen. Even the neighbors believed she was real. It was her first true performance, not just a game, but survival. Every Saturday, Carol and her grandmother scraped together 25 cents, more than 10% of their weekly income, to go to the movies. For a few hours, they weren't poor or afraid. They were transported to a world of elegance and joy. One day, while watching Johnny Weissmuller as Tarzan, she heard the legendary yell echo through the theater. She went home and mimicked it over and over again, not realizing she was building professional voice control. That yell would become one of her comedic trademarks years later. After high school, Carol dreamed of becoming a journalist. UCLA was her goal, but she didn't have the $50 to enroll. Then, out of nowhere, a stranger, anonymous to this day, paid her tuition. No note, no name, just a check that changed her life. Carol started as a journalism major, but one elective theater class shifted her entire trajectory. On stage, she wasn't shy or invisible. She was electric. Professors urged her to switch majors. She did. For the first time in her life, she wasn't just surviving. She was dreaming out loud. Another miracle came in 1954 at a party in San Diego. There, for the free food, Carol met a millionaire shipbuilder. After hearing her dreams of Broadway, he offered her and her boyfriend Don Soroyan $1,000 each to pursue their careers in New York. His only conditions? Never reveal his name, use the money only for New York, and pay it forward. Carol agreed and left UCLA behind. In New York, Carol Burnett lived in the Rehearsal Club, a tight, chaotic space where 5 aspiring actresses crammed into one room with a single bathroom and closet. She worked as a hat check girl at night and chased auditions by day. Her first break? A bizarre love song about John Foster Dulles, the dull U.S. Secretary of State. It was absurd, but Carol's comedic brilliance turned it into a showstopper. That moment earned her a spot on The Ed Sullivan Show and launched her career. By 1959, she starred in Once Upon a Mattress, earning a Tony nomination. Soon after, She was a rising star on The Gary Moore Show and on her way to creating The Carol Burnett Show. Premiering on September 11, 1967, The Carol Burnett Show broke all the rules. She was the first woman to host a variety show in prime time. It was a bold, hilarious mix of sketches, music, and audience interaction. Co-stars like Harvey Korman, Tim Conway, and Vicki Lawrence helped her redefine television comedy. At its peak, over 30 million people tuned in weekly. The show won 25 Primetime Emmy Awards, multiple Golden Globes, and People's Choice Awards. It became a cultural cornerstone. But not every sketch was about laughter. In 1977, during a recurring segment called The Family, Carol played Eunice, a bitter woman full of crushed dreams. Usually, the character was exaggerated for laughs, but in one sketch titled The Gong Show, things turned painfully real. Eunice enters a local talent competition, believing it's her big break. But instead of praise, she's mocked and torn apart. One of the judges was played by real-life host Alan Ludden. By the end, Eunice sits on stage, tear-streaked and broken. There was no music, no punchline, just heartbreak. The audience didn't laugh. The crew cried, and Carol never watched it again. She later admitted it was too real. Eunice's pain was her own. Off camera, her life was also falling apart. Her first marriage to Don Saroyan collapsed after his daughter from a previous relationship passed away. He spiraled into depression and alcoholism. They divorced in 1962. She later married Joe Hamilton, a TV producer with 8 kids from a previous marriage. Together, they had 3 daughters, Carrie, Jody, and Erin. Their home was loud, full, and, at times, overwhelming. But it looked perfect from the outside. But her most heartbreaking battle was with her daughter Carrie Hamilton's addiction. At 13, Carrie began using drugs to escape the pressure of being Carol Burnett's daughter. Carol sent her to rehab after rehab. At one point, Carrie ran away. For over a year, they didn't speak. Carol once said, "You have to love them enough to let them hate you." Carrie eventually got clean. They rebuilt their relationship and even wrote a play together, Hollywood Arms, based on Carol's childhood. But in 2002, Carrie died from pneumonia caused by lung cancer. She was just 38. Carol was devastated, but she finished the play alone, saying, "I owed it to Carrie." Carol's second marriage ended in 1984, and yet the heartbreak continued. Her youngest daughter, Erin, struggled with addiction for nearly 2 decades. In 2020, Carol and her third husband, Brian Miller, filed for custody of Erin's son when Erin was deemed unfit to care for him. Even at age 87, Carol was still stepping in, still trying to protect her family. And somehow, she never stopped performing. At 89, Carol Burnett stunned audiences with a haunting performance in Better Call Saul, playing Marion, a seemingly gentle woman who uncovers Saul Goodman's darkest secret. With just one quiet line, "I trusted you," she brought the scene to a chilling halt. Then, at 91, she shocked the world again in Palm Royale, improvising her role and earning an Emmy nomination, becoming the oldest female nominee in history. 7 decades in, she's still captivating us. But there's one role she'll never revisit, a sketch too personal, too painful. Because for Carol Burnett, that wasn't acting. That was truth. If Carol Burnett's story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories from legends who changed the world. One laugh, one tear, and one unforgettable moment at a time. Thanks for watching.